Alrighty, so Impact's Rebellion just went off the air. We have a new AEW and Impact World Champion in Kenny Omega. We will get to the main event when we get to the main event because there's a lot I have to talk about the main event. There's a few things that I have to get off my chest about the main event, but that's when we do get to the main event. We kicked off the night with the triple threat match for the X Division Championship. Josh Alexander defeating Ace Austin and TJP. I thought that this matchup was a really good way to kick off the show. I have little to no complaints about this match. Kind of shocking that Josh Alexander did get the win here. I thought Ace Austin was going to retain his title, but I guess it's cool that Josh Alexander won, considering the fact that his boy Ethan Page is with AEW, and that leaves Josh Alexander solo. Not saying Josh Alexander is bad, but just like it gives him something to do, and he has the X Division title. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there, but nonetheless, Josh Alexander wins the Impact X Division Championship. All right, so we had an 8-man tag team match play of Violent by Design, Diener, Joe Doring, Rhino, and the debut of William Morsley, a.k.a. Big Cass. So Big Cass made his debut in Impact. Honestly, good for him, considering the shit that he's been through these past few years. Good to see him back. Good to see him looking great. He's healthy, jacked, whatever you want to call it. And it's good that he's with Violent by Design. It would have been cool to see him and Enzo come back, but honestly, who would hire Enzo? Which is weird because Enzo is entertaining as hell, but I guess he doesn't live up to their standards, I guess. But nonetheless, it's good to see Morsley with Violent by Design. Thought it was good that they got the win over Chris Sabin, Eddie Edwards, James Storms, and Willie Mack. And I guess the reason why Eric Young didn't compete in this match was because he's actually injured. I think he suffered like a torn ACL injury, I believe. Someone could correct me in the comments, but he suffered an injury. He's going to be out for the next few months, so yeah. But as far as this tag team match goes, it was meh. You know, not the best match of the night, but it wasn't the worst match of the night. We had Brian Myers versus Matt Cardona. This matchup was meh. I felt like this was one of like their marquee matches heading into the show. And I thought that, you know, maybe, just maybe, like this would have been a little bit more. But, you know, Brian Myers gets the win here. And towards the end, Matt Cardona, you know, not only paying homage to his wife, well, his fiance, Chelsea Green, but also Christian with the kill switch. But Matt Cardona apparently suffered an injury, which was the reason why the match lasted while it lasted. But nonetheless, you know, Brian Myers does get the win here. So I guess that's good because I did say that, you know, Brian Myers should get the win over Matt Cardona anyway, considering that they have been, I guess, trying to give Brian Myers somewhat sort of a push here in Impact Wrestling. All right, so we had a tag team match player for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Jordan Grace and Rachel Erling with Jazz Tate defeating Fire and Flavor, Kiera Hogan, and Tasha Steele. You know how much I am a fan of Fire and Flavor, and this really hurt me most that they've lost the tag team belts. I love them together. I just love everything about Fire and Flavor, and to see them lose was... It broke my heart a little bit. They took my heart and just stabbed it into millions of pieces. It shattered it. You know, it broke my heart a little bit. But hopefully they win it back one day. But I guess, you know, it just wasn't their night tonight. And is it just me or is it Fire and Flavor were heelish in this feud between Jordan Grace and Rachel Erling? Or is that just me? Because they really acted like heels in this situation, in this match. All right, so we had a last man standing match between Trey Miguel versus Sami Callihan. Trey Miguel getting the win here. This was a really good last man standing match. I thought it was worth. Good for Trey Miguel getting the win here. I don't know where Sami Callihan goes from here. I really don't know. He could go to AEW, honestly. Probably help out with Moxley and Kingston, you know, reform that group. But Trey Miguel, I don't even know where he goes from here. We're just going to have to watch Impact and see what happens. We had a tag team match player for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. Finn and Juice taking on, well, defeating the Good Brothers. Yeah, it was meh. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't really care for this matchup, to be honest with you. Because it's one of those matches where you're just like, like, this team, this wrestler's going to win. And this was one of those moments where I knew that Finn Juice was going to fucking win. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, the Good Brothers might win here. Like, there wasn't a single point in the match that I thought that the Good Brothers were going to win. Even towards the end when they had the Magic Killer planned out. It was like, they're not winning at all here. So, Finn Juice wins here, and yeah. Okay, so we have the Impact Knockouts Championship being defended. Deonna Purrazzo defeating Tenille Dashwood. And this is an okay matchup for what it was worth. I mean, it was okay. Yeah, it was okay. There's really nothing I could say about this match, so it was okay for what it was worth. All right, so we have now the main event, Kenny Omega defeating Rick Swann to win both the Impact and AEW World Championship. Now, I said that there's a lot of things I have to talk about this match. First off, Mauro, I thought Mauro did pretty good on commentary. I think having Mauro as this one-time appearance was pretty good. So good on Mauro. Like, Mauro did his part tonight. But there's a problem. I'm going to try not to go on a rant here. And this is, one of the reasons why I could never take Rick Swann seriously as champ. First off, you had two high spots in the match that just failed miserably, okay? You would think after that first spot, like, they would not try to do it again. But then they try to do it a second time, and it's just like, dude, why are you guys trying to pull off another high spot when it failed? And it was just as worse as the first one. And then you had Rick Swann. Kenny Omega is hitting this man with V-trigger after V-trigger after V-trigger. And this was towards the end of the match. And then you have Rick Swann fighting and selling and then hits him with a suplex. When it's like, dude, you should be dead already. You took like 3, 4, 8 V-triggers at this point. You should be dead. When you take a V-trigger, you should be dead. And then the sad thing was the near falls. And I understand, and the argument would obviously be, well, Rick Swann's the champ, and he's got to show the world. But when you're kicking out of move after move after move after move, you're taking... This guy was kicking out of every Kenny Omega. I mean, Kenny Omega's just hitting move after move, moves that really Rick Swann shouldn't have kicked out of. And not only does that hurts the purpose of the match, it hurts Kenny Omega's moves a little bit. Like, Kenny can't hit the Tiger Driver 98 or whatever variation of driver he has it. If you keep kicking out of it, it makes the move more effective. Like, the one-wing angel is one of the most protected moves in wrestling nowadays. Like, Kota Ibushi's the only person in wrestling that's kicked out, and that was like back in 2008. It's just like, when you have a finisher, it's got to be effective. A finisher is not effective when people are kicking out. John Cena's attitude adjustment is no longer effective because people are kicking out of his finishers all the goddamn time. But nonetheless, a little small venting. This match was great. Okay, I will admit, this was the match of the night. This match was great for what it was worth. And having Kenny Omega win both Impact and AEW World title was good. One small thing, I do think AEW should have done a little bit better with promoting this matchup. Impact did the best job with promoting this match. AEW did little to no hype regarding this matchup. And I don't care if it was because, oh, well, they don't want people to think, they don't want to take Impact seriously. They don't want to make Impact seem like a threat. I don't care. When you have your world champion going into another promotion and fighting for their belt, you hype that match up. You don't just say like a small detail on Dynamite and then go on with the show. You hype that match up. They didn't do that. You could have had Rick Swann show up on AEW Dynamite. They didn't do that. So I'm interested to see how this story goes with Kenny Omega, with the belt collector, which title he goes after next. Is he going to carry those two Impact belts, or is he going to combine them together? Overall, this was a decent, well, not decent. It was a pretty good show. This has been The Kid, DC Wrestling. I hope you guys enjoyed this Impact Rebellion review. Like, subscribe, tell me in the comment section what were your thoughts on this event. And so, yeah.